Good evening. Welcome to the December meeting of the Environmental Advisory Committee for the town of McCandless. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First up, approval of the minutes from November. I see that Dave had a few comments. Any additional comments, changes? Nope. Okay, if so, all in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye, raise your hand. Aye. All opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Thanks again, John. Project updates and discussion items. Well, first off, we have Tony was not able to make it tonight, and neither was Matt. So as we kind of move towards the holidays, maybe assuming this will be sort of a light meeting, just kind of going over where everything is. I don't know that we have anything really new starting up right now. The first on the agenda was the Get Solar program update. Now, I wasn't able to make the last update meeting. I saw that we were supposed to have had the webinar for interested businesses yesterday. But last I saw that got moved into January 13th. So I don't know much else. I've seen the emails back and forth from Tony. It looks like we've had some interest from Latotomy. And I guess you've got some interest to the Ford dealership.
Ford dealership, Crest Tire, the town of McCandless, and MTSA.
Great. Thank you for
great.
your outreach. Very good. And I seem to think there was another group that came back with some interest as well. And I know Ross was helping us to publicize.
Yeah, there's a larger, whatever the regional EAC had an
Okay.
interest, was going to help.
Okay, great. So
Judy or John, do either of you know, have the letters or the emails gone out to the businesses yet, or are we still?
I
On the
know
brink of
just
that.
the social media blast has gone out.
Yeah,
Individual letters, I don't know. I can't answer that.
okay.
I
Oh,
sent
too.
some out, but
Yeah.
they were just to select.
Right. But obviously some of them did go out because Latotomy got one. Tony did reach out to some of the groups we noted. And I
Yeah.
can't remember off the top of my head how many he sent out a ton of emails last week. So he's working hard at it. So that's the update that I have. Anybody else think of something I missed?
No, I mean, it's true. I mean, when you are a business in McCandless, does McCandless know every business that's in?
Yes.
And so every one of them have, like this is our name, address, and website or something like that. So McCandless has a database of every business. Is that correct? So when you say social media blast, you can actually pull that list, and send something out to everybody. Is that just too simple?
Well, that's at this point, I don't think we've gone that route. There's the question of a lot of the businesses too don't necessarily own their buildings. So
Okay,
we're trying to
right.
hit the bigger fish out there to
Yeah.
try and catch the developers, that sort of thing. I know we had
Well-
discussed that at one point.
I know RJ got a list to Tony. I just don't know if we've sent the big blast out yet. So yeah, there's a list based on the tax, some sort of tax record that we have.
Okay,
Okay, all right,
okay, thanks.
thank you.
Okay, next up, rain garden maintenance plan and summer program. So this is kind of throwing it at you, Dawn. I know you've got a lot of things kind of floating out there.
Well, I actually don't have anything to update on this particular project at this time, so we can
Okay.
move on to the next.
Okay,
It's just, not that time of year.
I know.
And I haven't done any, I mean, Abby and I have been in discussions here and there, but we're not, things will gear up in the spring.
Not quite there. Understand. Do you want us to, I guess, kind of table
Yeah.
that for now?
Let's table it for now. I'll let you know when I have an update.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, deer management update. I saw in the minutes from last month that looked like we were off to a better start this year.
Yeah, the Suburban has both increased the number of hunters, the number of properties they're hunting on, and most importantly, they're harvesting more deer this year. November kind of tailed off. January, late season, I expected will pick up. That's generally when you're in October, November, a lot of guys are trying to spend time trying to get that trophy buck, and when they get into January, everybody's just out there to harvest the does. So they've already donated about 10 deer to the food banks with the Share the Harvest program. So at this point, we're up to 59 deer. They have 4 more hunters than last year and 3 new private properties that they've brought in the last month. So anybody, if you know anybody that's complaining about their deer eating their shrubs, encourage them to contact Suburban Whitetail.
Just out of curiosity, are those properties spread pretty evenly through McCandless? I'm just curious as to whether there's any in the southeastern corner.
I haven't seen a map.
Okay. I'd be curious, because we're down, I'm right off the Ross and Shaler and
Cool.
Hampton borders, and I bumped into one.
Ross also has, Ross and Franklin Park are also part of
That's
Suburban
true,
Whitetail.
okay, so that ought to kind of help filter up that way. My thoughts are around the Allegheny Memorial Park.
Well, and the issue that whitetail hunters in North Park have had is when they're hunting in there, and the deer figure that out, they move out over here.
Right,
And so it's been very difficult trying to get people that border the park here to be part of the program. And that's really what we need, but
yeah,
that's the landowner has to make that decision.
right, okay, no, I was just curious.
Do they hunt on the golf course up there?
Not on the golf course.
Not on the golf course, because that's where they're eating.
I know you see,
Well, but they have to get,
Huge
they're in
herds.
the wood. Deer are browsers, so when they're eating grass out in the golf course, that means there's no browse in the woods.
Right.
And so, but deer have areas that they prefer to bed down in and things like that. And so what a hunter does is they get between the bedding area and feeding area and intercept the deer in there. That's really, I'm being optimistic that they're going to be able to maybe get up as high as 100 this year, as far as when you get into January, you get a little more desire to shoot the does, and you get a little more activity of trying to, other hunters walking to move the deer past and things like that.
The cars are still beating the hunters, so we're over budget.
There's one right on Ingomar when I was going out to dinner this evening. I mean, right in the double yellow thing, and I wasn't able to stop to pull it off the road. Basically, where it is there in Ingomar.
was in the town, just removal cost.
Right,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's-
Well,
we really need
Try.
more properties. And the beauty of the program is that you can add a few homeowners to have a huntable tract, but
right.
I don't think we're getting the message out well enough in the town.
Well, and down where I am, it's 1/4 acre lots. and
So you really need
Subdivisions,
like 5 homes to agree.
but there are some homes along Thompson Run there that would be awfully nice. if I
See,
can behind
The
those.
problem I have at my house is I have all the people that abut my property have given me permission. But there's people that are just off of that, and if I shoot a deer with an arrow, they're gonna go 100 yards. And there's a pretty good chance that they're gonna end up in one of those people's front yards, and then the police are gonna get called and everything else. I mean, it's gonna be, so it just isn't worthwhile for me to do that, and I think that happens in a lot of these areas.
But the good news is the Pennsylvania game commission rules apply, so. You're not gonna get in trouble.
I'll get in trouble, just have a pissed off man.
Yeah,
Just
and
have,
no one wants to see that.
oh, on a good news, Westview Water has added their tract to
Oh,
our
okay.
program.
They harvested them on that.
Did they? Good, good. I didn't see that.
The new property he's talking about, the Westview Water, that was only open, what, for like 2 weeks,
Right.
and they harvested a deer off of there already.
The first day they walked up there, they saw between 25 and 30 doe in the first hour they were on the property.
So which property is that?
Westview Water, you know where Pine Creek Road is? In Brad School,
Mm-hmm.
up on that hill. It's actually right behind Potter Park,
Oh, okay.
and it's more Franklin Park than it is
Mhm.
McCandless, but it's still, the deer don't know the difference.
Yeah.
And McCandless is in the program too, so it
Mhm.
applies both ways. That'll be helpful.
Well, good, okay. Thank you for the update. Next up, Dave, litter and recycling.
Litter, just a couple things. Our little group met on November 29th to try to wrap up the fall cleanups and to brainstorm a little bit about how to increase participation for the spring. We still have 2 dates for the spring, Saturday, April 15th, and Saturday, April 22nd. The 22nd is actually Earth Day, so maybe keep that in mind if the EAC wants to do something a little special for Earth Day. I'm not sure. We need another event on the calendar or not. We do have a meeting set up with Mr. O'Malley on March 20th. We've trying to set up meetings with the new representative, Mr. Venkat or Dr. Venkat, I guess. Senator Williams on some of the legislative budget PennDOT type issues that we have that there may be able to try to deal with. I think we're reaching out to Amy Steele at the library to see if they have any activities going on for Earth Day. I think I was trying to think at one time I thought they did and then it got
2020,
canceled.
they tried.
Right.
They had one planned and we were going to have a table. And
I
talk
thought
about
I remember
recycling, I
that,
think,
yeah.
but then that was right at the beginning of COVID and canceled.
Um,
So, yeah, that's great to ask them about.
We'll
that.
see about that. We've done some, like individually, we've done some litter pickup Saturday, Sunday mornings since October 22nd. We picked up about 50 bags of litter. Perry Highway was done, which was missed before. McKnight and Peebles, we picked that up twice. Needs picked up about every month. Just to keep ahead of it. McKnight Ingomar interchange, that's our Adopt a Highway area that was picked up again. Linda's done some pickup over on Babcock, Arcadia, McKnight, some of those areas. So that's what I have for litter, I guess.
Can I chime in here? So
Yes.
I'm part of that 4-person litter little group person group. And I thought about some things after we left because that meeting was basically, let's try to come up with some new ideas to, bring back some people that we lost, to bring back some scout troops, to bring back families, or how do we grow this thing? Because this is basically on life support. Dave, if you don't mind me saying this.
Yes.
It's basically on life support. We have
Absolutely.
20 to 30 people on each date. And I started thinking, what has happened? And whenever I first started doing this, you'd come up into this room and there'd be 100 people going out with, to go out to get litter. And it struck me that the creation of the 4-person litter group is pretty much been the destruction of the litter program. Because nothing personal, Dave, but what it's done is it's given the false impression that we've got this. And And the municipality is basically backing away from it. It's become a non-priority because they think somebody else has it. And I think that is a false positive. We don't have it. And I think there's a comfort level, just like you're at work. If you think somebody's working on this over here, okay, you've got that.
Yeah,
You're
it's
good.
quiet, it looks.
It's
like
human
everything's
nature.
going on. Yeah.
And I think human nature has been that the municipality believes that we're running this thing. And it was much better whenever the municipality ran it, because there'd be 100 to 120 people. And I just think the support has gone away. And so I look to you, Jack, and I say, how do we raise the priority of this? I mean, we have a meeting in March with Mr. O'Malley. That's too late. I mean, that meeting is meaningless basically, because we've already had people either commit or not commit. It's 2 weeks away that we have the dates coming up, or 3 weeks away. And so somehow I think either this thing goes back to the way it was, and the municipality has buy-in. The members have buy-in to this thing. Or we just sort of give it up. I mean, I don't know what us four can do anymore. Basically, we're saying, okay, how do we go to the schools and start to get, all the clubs in NA to join this thing? It's not going to happen. None of that's going to happen. I mean, I think we're digging our own grave being this 4-person group. I mean, we come up with ideas, and we can certainly be consultants to the EAC, to the board. But I think it has to go back away from us on back to, to be an official movement.
Well, it always started in the EAC. It's always been an EAC project. There was, I want to say that it was probably back when you went in and there were 100 people here.
Yeah.
There was definitely more of a council was more involved in terms of talking it up, physically being here. At the time, Kim Zachary, which was a huge, she was a big proponent of the whole program, and actually sorry to see she's resigned from council now. That hurts us a lot. But anyway, she did a welcome to the people, and how this is all important, and
Right.
both that kind of a rah-rah type of thing, which was awesome, and people got a sense of community spirit, and everyone's pitching in and that kind of thing. So,
Right.
It was still, even back then in 2018, it was a EAC project. That's how it started out of the gate.
So that's how long this has been going on, since
2018,
2018.
spring 2018 was the first, yeah, so, but,
Well, let's look at what caused the demise of volunteers. I think it was COVID.
yeah, definitely.
Is that
So-
where we dropped off? Because we were steadily.
I don't
growing.
know that I agree
right?
with that, but I think it would, well, I don't know.
Well, something made people stop showing up, and
Well,
Well-
for a while there, we couldn't make it an event. I still think that's kind of a draw. I know it seemed chaotic and it's almost harder for us, but to have the big gathering in the morning,
Yeah.
we.
Yeah,
served
I
the
agree. The
breakfast,
event
um,
is,
And it was more of an event. And then COVID, we at least were able to keep up the cleanups, but we lost, to me, that thing that brought
Camaraderie.
everybody together.
Sense of community. I mean, we're back in on a good day, we're back at Devlin Pavilion or whatever, because we lost this room to a yoga class.
Mhm.
no,
So-
no. The yoga class didn't move into the building until the fall. And there's no reason why you couldn't have an event at the Devlin Pavilion. I mean, we could, I do think there was like a lack of sense of community at the last couple events. People just came in, got their assignment, left. We didn't have a lot of people standing around from the EAC or council chatting with people and things, but and that was a nice piece from events past. But we could do that at the Devlin Pavilion. We just didn't.
And because we've also gotten away, I think, from everybody meeting there, and I get why. It's chaotic.
Yeah,
We need to be I guess we just have to look at the organization of it, maybe have more hands. I don't know what the answer is there. But that's the only thing I can think that's different is the first couple of these I participated in. There was a big kind of community.
But they met in
feel.
here first.
They met in here first.
And you
there
know,
were a
I'm-
lot of people, it was, but everybody was kind of, you get this, we're in it together feel. Rather than it kind of got dispersed, I think.
Yeah, it's always fun. It's always much better whenever hey, there's, I'm one of 100 people out there. The roads are full of people that are doing, because there's no glamour in picking up trash. But if you think, hey, there's 100 other people that's involved in it, not if I'm one of 10.
Mhm.
Oh, why should I do it? I mean, it's gonna be 4 of us pretty soon.
If you're making an event, having something to have everybody together in the beginning makes a lot of sense. But also having something afterwards, having some type of fun award ceremony, somebody had picked up the biggest tire or something, just having some fun awards to bring everybody back together afterwards. And having that front end and the back end, I think, is where you're building the community, and making it worthwhile for people to want to come out and do it.
Well, and the other thought, I know we've thrown it out there, and now that we've made contact with the other North Hills EACs, there's a lot of these communities within the city, whatever, that have contests. And can we maybe work with the other EAC organizations to come up with, we've got a competition between our organizations, the cleanup. I know Franklin Park was trying to get them going, right?
Franklin Park did a
Jim
cleanup
Porcelli did one.
last on the fall, I think.
So, maybe we look at doing something like that and we publicize it and let's see who can we beat Ross and Franklin Park and pick up more bags of trash? I know that's something we've thought about and obviously that takes some outreach and some pre-planning.
Some individual recognition is good too.
How much is a radio ad
I don't listen to the radio. I don't know.
or a
I
billboard ad?
That's something on a larger scale that we had talked about in McCandless Rotary was putting up like they have in other townships where you have a message board.
Well, we're gonna get a message board out here at the Heritage Center, but we can also use the message board in front of Cumberland Crossing. And we could probably talk to some other of these people that own it and maybe get them to advertise it.
I wonder if the high school would do it.
I don't know, but it doesn't hurt to ask, right?
Yeah, well, I noticed, Coldwell Banker there on Perry Highway
Right.
at Brewster's, they have a big electronic sign. I drove by there the other day and it was like, let's go Bucks or something like that. The
Right.
Pirates aren't even
Yeah,
playing, so it's like, why did they? I mean, come on, you can have a more,
yeah.
They need some material.
yeah, maybe if you just give them some material, maybe. Same thing with McCandless Crossing. I think we've had like a thank you ad up, but not really have advertised over there.
I know even McCandless Pool has a little sign. They changed the wording on there.
Just in terms of when we did it before, we had kind of a continental breakfast and bagels and juice and that kind of coffee and all of that.
I
Takes
know-
people to put it together.
And I'm always willing to help with that.
Yeah,
And I think that's what we're gonna have to do is put that effort back in again. And I know it's hard when you've been doing it all this time and
yeah.
kind of got the logistics down to a science. You just want to get out there and go, but I think we may have to add that kind of stuff
And
to bring
with
people back out.
a lot of the, Giant Eagle and places like that are usually fairly happy to donate,
Right.
for those types.
But
of
it
events.
takes outreach, takes phone
Yeah,
calls,
it takes somebody's
letters,
got to go ask.
and a lot of pre-planning.
Yeah.
You're right. And that's too much for one person, so we have
Yes.
to figure out how to make that work.
In terms of the, like, what I call the after party or whatever, some people have said, well, I just want to go home and take a shower.
It's
You
fine.
know.
They can
And
do
I
that.
see that.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think a pre-event is better than an after event, just in my experience of doing a million different litter pickups, that's usually the case. People want to go home, but
I agree
you
with
could
you,
have an
Don.
event, but
Yeah.
People want to get the ticks off.
Yeah.
you're tired, you're dirty, you're hungry,
Right,
you just
and
want to
the-
go
And the,
do
and
your
the,
thing.
the kids run out of steam. At least mine have the past couple of times.
Now
Very cool.
Monroeville does an after party,
Okay.
just barbecue prizes, you know, signed stuff from the. Steelers and the Penguins and everything. It's a big event that the. You know, the town, you know, has a big part of
Well,
that.
can we collaborate with the activities committee?
You know, we
Potentially.
have our community days. So we do the 4 cleanups and then maybe a community days. We try to give some recognition to the people that
Mhm.
picked up the most or picked up the most unique things and try to get some excitement going into the
Well,
next.
and I think we had sign up sheets at
Okay.
community day when they were still the full,
Right.
we had the table. We really talked it up at our table at
Yeah,
community.
we kind of
Day
lost that this year because
Yeah.
the
past couple of
courts were
years, yeah.
being under construction. So
Right, right.
that might help a lot.
So making an event out of it.
Mhm.
But bodies. More bodies,
The activity committee, we absolutely have to involve them. I mean, if we let them take care of all the eventness of it, even maybe the pre-event before the litter cleanup, maybe the activities committee could help us with that. Maybe we could ask.
It can't hurt to ask.
Send an email to Nicole Farnan. Dave, I'll send you her email. I'll do it right now. She's the lady that reached out to me about Winterfest.
just from my perspective. Anything the activities committee does. Gets widespread. Notice, publication, advertisement. You know, we're kind of. Fighting every inch of the way.
That's what they're geared towards doing, and maybe we
to
have to
do.
learn to do a better job of it.
Working
Or
together.
have them do it for us. That's their, I mean,
Yeah, they're
that's
obviously
what they're waiting for is
doing it
events.
well, so.
Okay.
And if we tell, all they're really responsible for is the party part of it, and we take care of the logistics, the pickup, and I think it could work.
Yeah, whenever it comes to logistics of, you know, assigning people and getting people out the door and getting people
Right.
with, you know, with product and so forth in their hand. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. I mean, Dave's always the quarterback on this, but I want to be, you know, you know, a good assistant to you. So I think, and, you know, like Judy said, I mean, we can all be here for that. And if we could have some buy-in from council, you know, some extra people and, you know, show that support that way, I think it goes a long way.
One thought, though, if we have 2 dates, though, that I think kind of dilutes it. And I understand the reason, because as things were kind of dying down, we thought, well, maybe we can get more people
Right.
going for a couple of dates. But I think if we're going with this approach, we should.
Would you consolidate to Earth Day if we, I mean, at this point, can you do that if we get, you know, the plan, the activity committee to say, okay, well, we can do one day and we think we can do a better job by doing this. We can consolidate, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm open to anything. I mean, I've gone to 2 days because when you only get 20 people.
Yeah.
Right, I
You
understand.
can't.
The coordinating.
Otherwise, it's Lynn and I out there picking it and, you know,
Coordinating
Jeff
with
picking up
the
trash.
event committee and basing it around Earth Day, I think would be a really marketable thing.
yeah. The other thing the 2 dates give you is a built-in rain day.
Yeah, I understand that. I agree that
'Cause
happens
twice,
a lot.
we've had 1 rain out and 1 snow out, so,
We'll just have to put in a special call.
I mean, liquid sunshine.
Yeah. I really think that simplifying it, going with one date. I think that would benefit the whole effort.
Yeah.
Last year, I had to be in Philadelphia for one of the 2 dates, so I could only make one. So it was nice to have the 2 dates.
Right.
Mhm.
But I think if you want to create the camaraderie, if you want to get the big bang, you have to go with one.
And I really think that Earth Day is just like, if it's early enough that the weeds aren't growing and stuff, I think that's just a wonderful build out from that.
You could always have a rain date scheduled. In the event that we get rained out, the new date will be such and such a date.
Events committee, I mean, working with Earth Day and stuff like that, I think they can really do a pretty good job with that.
I like it. So
Okay,
you let us know what we can do to help you, Dave.
Yep.
It sounds like Dawn's got some great contacts. He's been working better through both the Heritage and the Activities
Working
Committee.
together.
Yep.
This doesn't all have to be you, so please let us help.
Yep.
To
Okay.
take what David was talking about a little bit further, I got a phone call from Lynn Atman. She was driving down McKnight in between Cumberland Crossing and Arcadia and saw, I just sent
The
everybody
photos, yeah.
pictures.
Yeah,
And I just want to say thank you to the state. They sent out road crews and they cleaned it all up.
That was really a huge.
That
mess.
doesn't happen often,
yeah, that's very rare.
but that was thanks to Jeff Schoeneman in our
Having
Public
contacts
Works.
with
Yeah,
the right people and
He-
got it done.
Because it was there and then it was gone.
it was an awful mess and it was just blowing everywhere. So I'm glad Lynn tipped us off and I'm glad Jeff called the state. The township has no authority to go on a state or county road to do anything. For us to salt those roads, we have to have written permission to do it. So there's little to nothing that they can do in the event, maybe there's, an accident or something, that might be a different story because they're responding, but there's very little we can do in the way of helping out with litter on.
So it's good to know if we do see something like that, if we talk to Jeff
Is
Okay,
that
take
the
care.
protocol now?
or. Probably don't want to over,
For
The
carts, the plastic, the cardboard, the buckets, the.
man has
mattresses,
probably the toughest job in the town. I mean, he's got 110 miles of road he maintains and everything that goes with the town. So he does have a secretary. I would recommend just send an email over and he'll address it, or send it to me and I'll handle it.
be careful what you wish for there.
I know. I've been handling a lot of it, so I'm kind of used to it.
Couple things on recycling.
Mhm.
We have time, it's only 8 o'clock. There was another webinar that's PRC, Pennsylvania Resources Council, I think they are.
Mhm.
Did on November 15th, I listened in on that. Emily Stein from PRC was doing it. Interesting thing that she mentioned is that PRC came out of a prior organization that was formed in 1939 to address roadside blight, they called it, billboards and litter along the new Pennsylvania Turnpike. And 80 years later, we're still doing the same thing.
So they were throwing litter out of their cars back in.
That
the
was a big
1950s.
deal when you go around the new Turnpike. Anyway,
What year was that?
1939, she said,
30s, okay.
I think the Turnpike was,
That went up to Carlisle and stopped, I think.
Yeah, because that's why Midway was located in Bedford. Because it only did
Oh.
that much of it.
but anyway, that was kind of interesting. she did give us 3 resources. There's a PA recycling, sorry, a DEP recycling hotline. She's PRC.org has a lot of information on recycling also. She mentioned that there's a county recycling coordinator for each county. John, have you ever come across a Allegheny County recycling coordinator?
Yeah, her name's Joy.
Oh, okay.
Small one.
Oh, okay, all right, so. That turned out to be true, okay. It's kind of difficult because every municipality has different rules for recycling and what you do and what your neighbor who lives on 3 streets over, they can, you know, include the tops to bottles and cans, and you can't include the tops to bottles and cans, and you might have a hard to recycle program and they don't have a hard to recycle program, so it's very municipal specific. Their new phrase or that they go back to all the time is when in doubt, throw it out. They want quality. They want the recycling stream to be have quality rather than quantity. One thing they did mention is that there's, I don't know if you've seen like at I think I've seen it at maybe like the art festival downtown. They have a group that comes in and sets up recycling containers, like this goes to the landfill, these are bottles and cans, this is food that gets what's it called, compost,
Right.
you know. And you can set, it's called a zero waste kit rental, and you can actually get this for the town for an event, so maybe something to think about for like community day or something like that, just to bring kind of an awareness to more recycling. They mentioned a place on the south side, Appliance Warehouse, that recycles styrofoam.
Oh, really?
You ever heard of that? Never heard of anyone recycling styrofoam, but it's
They take your appliances too, whether they work or don't.
yeah,
Then they just they take the parts and inventory and
they also work with Construction Junction on stuff too, so that's maybe something I'll take a look at. I don't know if we want to start doing, I was thinking maybe to do a monthly recycling tip.
I was just gonna say, Dave, this is all great to share with us, but like, how do we get this out to the broader, this is information, in my opinion, we should be sharing with residents, not just with the other, within the EAC. So I think that would be great if you did that.
absolutely.
And did you guys know that you can recycle Christmas lights at Ace Hardware? I was there the other day and they had a little box outside with a sign on it, and I know I've got some stuff in my
Do it
basement.
at Lowe's too.
Yeah, so we might, that might be a nice tip for
That
December.
would be nice. It would have been a nice tip about 2 weeks ago for me.
You're getting rid of the ones that were dead.
John, can you get that on our website?
Recycling tips?
Yeah.
Yep, we can add that to the mail, they can be a social media item.
I think
Whatever we want
that's
to
a
do.
great idea, Don.
And sometimes people just need to be reminded, you can recycle batteries here and plastic bags here and, cardboard out
Well, they'll
back.
pick them up. Our town has a program. You dial a number and they handle your used batteries.
Batteries,
Also,
yeah.
Well, that's part of their electronics
Right.
and hazardous
Yeah.
waste.
So,
And then
so
we have
Dave, like, can you
electronics too.
feed this to John, like once a month, some new tip that he can put out on social media?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
That'd be great.
I'd commit to that if I don't have to do a normal tips. If I can get out of that rotation.
That's a fair.
Fair
trade.
enough.
Look at you go, look at you go.
So would that be something else we'd add to McMail? Or are you thinking that's something that goes out separate, something that's short and sweet?
I
Um,
think social media, like pick in my opinion, social media, yeah, like pick do the Christmas lights in December, a couple times, do
how you do your, what you do.
batteries in January, or
Yeah, and just.
McMail has the largest distribution, does it not?
Yeah, social media, when you put it out there, it's gonna be kind of up and down, but if it's just one recycling, it could be turned into a little graphic,
Right.
which would be really nice for social media.
and
Mhm.
also populating, having a really good list for all that stuff, constantly being able to refer people back to our page on the town's website where we've got that stuff listed. So maybe we feed it to
Right.
John to get listed in both places, both on the site and on the social media accounts. And then, occasionally we do a nice article in McMail Tips that's a little more extensive or comprehensive or something.
And actually, John, I saw just a couple weeks ago, our recycling page still doesn't mention the glass recycling
doesn't?
dumpster out there. So I'd like to update that if we could.
Actually, I have a really great list of stuff from FedEx Ground. Our sustainability department put together a list of for local for the folks here in Pittsburgh of hard to recycle items. I'll forward that to you, Dave. If I don't, remind me, please.
Okay,
Hey, Don, it's a kind of a sidebar, but you
Yeah.
kind of mentioned that your organization has a group that goes out and does community activities and what have you.
Yes.
You think that we could reach out to businesses to do our road cleanups and that their sustainability groups might be interested in helping?
So for FedEx Ground, those events would need to be Monday through Friday. So we could maybe, in addition to doing the community event on a weekend, is maybe we could have a corporate hosted, where the EAC hosts an event for corporate cleanup folks Monday through Friday, but it has to be, there has to be a nonprofit that's hosting it. So like for the trail work, the way I was going to get us corporate volunteers, at least through FedEx Ground, was by maybe if we have the NAEC host the event, because they're a nonprofit, then FedEx Ground will put it up as a volunteer event. I don't know if other corporations have similar policies or not. But as far as a litter cleanup, yeah, I think we would just have to maybe do a separate event occurring during the weekday. But for sure, you would get some folks to do that. I know they do the section of, we do cleanups all along. I forget the name of the road now that I don't go out there anymore. What's that road there? Christ, at the bottom of FedEx Hill,
Is that Montour
along the
Road?
creek. Rush Creek Road, I don't know, anyway,
Oh,
along that trail, that walking trail. Montour Run, thank you.
Right,
Montour Run, I couldn't remember the name of the road. Yeah, so FedEx Ground cleans up sections of that in the spring and fall. Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. All right, thank you very much. Lots of good ideas. Get this stuff kicked back in gear again. All right, Jeff, sustainability.
No new update. I had gave the update last meeting, and that's what we did, sort of all the preliminary work of, pulling together the 2019 standards along with today's standards. And I think some of the magic is happening behind the scene by John and folks, sort of matching that up. And then once we get that, then I'll have something to report. And I would.
Okay, would you like me to keep you on the monthly list or wait until you let me know you have an update?
Yeah, let's not keep it on the list. I'll connect with John, and then whenever I have an update, then I'll get back on the agenda.
Okay, so you want that pretty much tabled until I hear from you.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. All right, trail update. We just kind of made a general trail updates. Handing it over to you, Jack. Because I
Well-
know you've had a lot of
I've been
new
talking
stuff
to a
on
lot of people,
connectivity. Yeah,
and the one thing we did is the town we're gonna be doing um, a plan for trails and parks.
Mhm.
Once we get that, then that opens up the door for grant money to help pay for trails.
Okay, so
and
you
parks.
actually like hiring a consultant to do
We're
this
gonna have
through the
a
town?
consultant and it'll work, we'll have, the community will be engaged and what have you.
Mhm.
So, we're moving that forward, but I'm talking to the Allegheny Land Trust now. And I have a meeting actually at lunchtime tomorrow with somebody from another trails organization. So we just keep assimilating more information.
So Jack, I think it's true that now you can't use like Trails Pittsburgh cannot use machinery in Allegheny County. Is that correct? Because
I have no idea.
yeah, there's a mountain bike park up in Butler called Almeda. It's right by the high school. And they built it, and it's fabulous. I mean, it's world class. And they built it with machines because you can do that in Butler. I guess you can't do that here. But
I think it's more expensive.
you think so?
I met with the guys that build the trails in North Park.
Yeah,
And actually Don had some ideas about using the main EAC to go buy tools. But all the stuff that I know is built with these, what do they got? There's
it's like
special
giant hose and
big
everything.
hoe,
Yeah, yeah.
And and the trick is to build it along the hillside instead of up the hillside, because you
Right.
get erosion if you go up. So, but it's really not rocket science.
It's not, you just need bodies.
You just
Again, you
need-
just need,
yeah.
I've been involved in a couple of those parties and again, in about 30 seconds, you're an expert because you just start whacking that thing into the ground
I've tried to say this, I've helped build trails too, but like nobody, Jack, it's not good enough for Jack. Jack wants some sort of professional trail people.
Well, I don't,
No,
I mean,
no. I just don't want to,
you need people.
I just don't want to get in trouble because of the DEP and everything. But I think I'm pretty cool with you coming out there with a group of people and putting it in the hillside. We just have to figure out exactly where, and maybe by spring, we may end up with two trails. One that will go down through the center of Wall Park and up. I've found these devices that you can put out in marshlands that's acceptable and what have you. So that might be for more of a, the general public, and then we'll have a more of like what Dawn knows how to build. It'll be more of a bike trail up on the hillside. So we kind of thinking we're going to end up with two.
And how would you alert the public of this so they can come and see the plant? How does that go through McMail again or something, or
Yeah.
come see
What I
planned?
I think Dawn and I talked about using the activities committee to spearhead that, to do the advertising of it and what have you. But I've gotten some pretty interesting contacts. It's going to be like how they built a Great Wall, just get a lot of bodies out there.
Mhm.
But we'll just have to go out. I think Dawn has some kind of tape or something we can mark on our trees and what have you. But
Hey, by the way, Judy is our source she's got all sorts of
Need
flaggers tape.
Flagging, let me know.
Mhm,
flagging,
Yeah.
or surveyor's tape, that's apparently,
Mhm.
we're going to need
she,
that.
she lives in that stuff.
Yeah, let me know if there's a particular color, when you need it.
We'll need it end of winter.
Hey Judy, I have pink. Can I have a different color for the rain gardens? I'd like pink to continue to mark plants that should stay, and then another color to mark things that should go.
Okay,
Any color besides pink.
okay. One is pink and one is something else. Okay. I'll see what I can sneak out of the closet.
Uh-oh.
By the way, the town did approve the sidewalk on Route 19. So we have connectivity all the way up to the Commodore Perry Trail. So Commodore Perry Trail is kind of right there, Brook Tree. That's where Rachel Carson Trail and,
Mhm.
and the Commodore Perry, I guess, are the same at that point. Commodore Perry somehow goes up 19, Rachel Carson crosses. So I think you saw that thing where they got a million+ grant for that trail. But they excluded our town, but now I think they'll be interested to know that with that sidewalk extension, it brings them all the way down to Vestal Field. They can walk Vestal. Pretty soon we'll have it connected over here to Town Hall. And soon we'll have it. And I talked to our Maintenance Way people about the road that goes from Pine Creek, the old Harmony Road that goes from Pine Creek up into Ingomar. That's kind of another section that needs to be fixed up, so they'll be able to hook into that, and I think maybe when they go for money next time, maybe we'll get a little bit of that too. Who knows?
Where are the proposed sidewalks on Perry Highway?
If you go past, if you're coming out of the high school and heading south on 19,
Yeah,
and you come to the Firestone station and the Lincoln
yeah,
dealership, there's no sidewalk there, and then there's 3 houses.
right.
So that has been bid on and approved and voted on by council. So soon they'll build that. That'll take us to Longview. You make a right and it's a road,
Oh,
and you go down to the end and make a left and make a right, and then Oak Ridge has sidewalks. You take the sidewalk down the bottom of the hill, and if you cross Pine Creek, that's Harmony Road. There you go straight up Harmony Road.
Oh,
That takes you right into Ingomar, and that takes you right over to the very top of Wall Park. And hopefully we'll have a pocket park up there soon, and then you'll be able to go on the Dawn Trail down all the way to the bottom of Wall Park.
Well, I
So-
appreciate that sidewalk. My son and his teenage friends go up to Moe's and things like that, walk up to the high school, so that'd be much safer.
Well, the people that just
Very
built this
excited.
sidewalk out here in front of the town will be doing the project, so they did a nice job out here. Looking forward to it.
Great.
Great. Okay,
That's it.
thanks, and thanks for all your advocacy and getting
Mhm.
these, go, because that's what it.
It's
that's
a
what it
strange
takes.
world, man.
Yeah. But
There's a lot
you're
of,
on it, so.
a lot of
thank you.
strings.
That's all I have on the list for major project updates. Next, just updates on some community outreach items. Just a recap of the November Water Under the Bridges presentation. I thought it went well. I thought the partnership with the Heritage Center and the library was great. And it looks like they're now starting to do more things together as well. But that connection, we had what, maybe 15, 20 folks there that pretty much filled the space.
right.
It's not a big open room like this where if you have 15 people, it looks empty.
Mhm.
The way they have it set up, 15 people fills the space, and it's a really nice little crowd. And I think that the folks appreciated the presentation. They did a nice job. So I think that's a great way forward with these. If we ever end up with a topic like stormwater we had several years ago where we feel like we need the bigger space, we'll look back here. But I think for the types of things we're looking at right now, and if Tony's willing to continue with some more of these, I'm real pleased with how it turned out at the Heritage Center.
There's also space at the library too. So if
Right,
this
and
is
there's,
booked
but
up.
I think the library liked that space better as well, because we had that
It's intimate.
conversation with Katie, just because, their spaces look more like this.
Mhm.
And that's such a, I don't know, that's just a
not
nice,
as intimate.
warm, it's very
Mhm.
intimate, you're right. It wasn't super easy to see what was on the screen, that's the only thing, but otherwise, I thought it went very well.
They've got a lot on in the planning stage for that.
Yeah. So we've got to get something together and get on the schedule.
No, I mean, they plan on expanding it
The
so that
Heritage
they'll
Center.
be able to do more things at the Heritage Center.
Really?
So they've got some pretty big plans
Wow. Okay.
that we can benefit from.
So that turns out to be another really nice partnership for us. So we'll keep looking into that. Nothing's set up right now, but I'll start working with Tony the new year and see if he has any more ideas, any more friends that can come out and speak for us. Next up was STEM programs, grants, catch basin stickers. We don't have Matt with us tonight, but he did, I guess the Interact Club put us in contact, and Dawn can touch on this more, the couple of girls that came to help us out at Winterfest. So I don't know if there's a whole lot to recap for Winterfest. First of all, I just want to thank Dawn for the incredible amount of effort she put into our table, our tree, crafts for the kids, working with the Interact folks. Can't thank you enough for that. That was a great effort.
Well, I did want to say this. I mean, I think it went well, but I think there were a lot of lessons learned too. So, stay tuned for next year's Winterfest. I think I'm going to rope more of you guys in, and if I can, and maybe, we can focus in on just 2 activities or 2 demonstrations and versus the couple different things we had going on that there was a little too much going on, I think, at our table. But anyway, great lessons learned. And yeah, I think next year will be even better.
I think one lesson learned is don't put it next to the DJ.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing to mention, I don't know if anybody wants one, but if anybody wants to stop by the EAC tree on your way out of the meeting tonight and steal yourself an ornament, please feel free. Those are all handmade, so
The ornaments were beautiful.
grab them while you can.
They were really, really nice.
You don't save those for next year, you redo them?
Well, we were sort of doing themes. So here's the thing though, the trees are outside for about a month and the ornaments get pretty wind whipped and weather beaten. So last year, a lot of stuff got destroyed. I was only able to really reuse the pine cones. And then this year we'll see what makes it. I tried to put a varnish on a lot of things, a clear enamel spray varnish to protect them a little better. So we'll see if things last. But,
Beautiful, Dawn.
yes, I mean,
Incredible
honestly, if
amount of work.
anybody wants to grab something for their house on the way out, you should before the weather beats them up.
And by the way, I was in the strip district today for work, and I passed a little photo op sign. It was a little snowman with the face cut out, and I took
Yes.
pictures of how it was all done.
Okay,
Very
and
easy
Judy,
pace, much
Sorgels
easier.
does have one for sure. I was looking through some photos the other day of my nephew, and here I took a picture of him at Sorgels in front of, so I know they have one up there. We
They
just
do,
have to
but
go.
I'm just looking at structural so I can build one for you. So
If you've got what you need, good.
got what I need.
Okay, excellent.
Much easier than what I was thinking, so.
Yeah.
We're all set. One thing, I know Dave had sent us an email from NAEC back in, I guess, October, November. NAEC is now got a regular series of Arboretum volunteer days in North Park. So I'm looking at his email here.
In January.
Yeah,
I went
January-
a couple weeks
January
ago.
14th.
Jack was gonna go, but he couldn't make it.
I wasn't able to make the last one. I was out of town.
I'll
But-
take, I mean, do you want, yeah.
Can you forward this to everybody, or I can read off
I'd
the
like to be
dates?
involved in this. Yeah.
Anyway, January 14th is the next one. What was
Just
the
get out.
time on that?
Yeah,
They're very Saturdays for like 2 hours.
Yeah, well,
Mailing list.
okay, if you can send it to me, that's great. Good.
So.
I'll send
something
it to you, Jeff.
We could
In January?
certainly help out with.
Send it to me too, please, Don.
Yep, it
Thanks.
was a great event.
Okay. And that's what I had for community outreach. Yeah,
Add one
go
item?
ahead.
I don't know if EAC has any input on where the Christmas trees are planted, or has anybody thought about that, or for springtime, or
Usually the Public Works Department comes up.
they
with
just
them.
pick a spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have any ideas, though, I'm sure they'd be willing to hear. 'em.
I just didn't. know
I have
that.
one idea. It was actually from Deb Sagan at the Activities Committee, but she had commented previously to me that it would be nice if there was a tree screen put in up by the UPMC fitness pad because of all the noise and
Mm,
dust from the
great idea.
traffic there.
I can
So,
talk to Jeff.
Do you want to
about
mention
that.
it to Jeff, maybe?
Happy to.
That's a great idea.
They used to have trees all along Ingomar. It's just,
Do they grow up though and get
Yeah,
to
they
be an
grow up
issue?
and-
Yeah. They grow too fast and
Dawn, would one or those trees be appropriate for the rain gardens or not?
Nah.
No.
okay. Anything else for community outreach? Okay, next up, miscellaneous items, North Hills EAC events. I have not heard anything as a follow-up to, when was it, October in Ross? So probably first of the year. I'll reach back out and see if there's any interest in doing another get together maybe in the spring.
quarterly is good on that.
Excuse me?
I think quarterly is good. on that.
I think you're right. So we'll look and I still think it's nice if we can be outside. So. But I can still keep in touch. You know, unless one of the other groups is willing to do something. But yeah, if we do it too often, we'll lose folks, I think. We had also started talking about a student member, a student member on EAC.
I ran that by our town
Yeah.
manager.
Mhm.
He liked the idea so much that he picked the girl that was working the booth for us to see if she would be the junior council member and assign her to the EAC.
Because
What
I know
booth
he
for
was
us?
talking-
You
he
mean
was
one of the
talking,
Our two
at
girls,
Windy Fest. The first girl that was there.
Risha, he tried to get Risha.
Yeah.
Did she say yes?
He seemed to indicate she seemed interested.
Very interested.
We advertised twice to try to get a student to do the junior council and no one applied. And then Judy came up with the idea of
No, I did not come up with the
Well,
idea. That was Dawn's idea.
she passed it on to me.
It wasn't my idea. It was through that EAC network thing.
Okay, there you
Well,
go.
regardless, I reached out to the town manager. And we were exchanging, Jeff you were involved too, you got us some information relative to how we got the junior council person.
Mhm.
Anyhow, make a long story short, I just sent him a text while we were sitting here to see if he would give me an update.
And thanks, Jack. I know you sent me I guess the resolution for EAC and you had sent me something, I guess the advertisement or the website, the web page for the junior council person. I'm looking for if there was actually a resolution for that junior
wasn't.
chair. There was not.
Not that,
As far as I know,
Yeah.
they just said, go ahead. and
Oh, okay. So
advertise.
we didn't have to do any changes to our resolution for EAC.
no
Okay.
ordinances or anything.
Okay. So no resolutions or anything. Okay, so if we want to invite somebody to do it, we just,
Well, we
well, I
kind
guess we can kind of
of
do
better
a
talk to,
project form and run it by council.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know I had asked Kim Zachary previously about the clearances issue, and she said, they didn't go through the school. They just advertised for the junior council person
Mhm.
position. In that way, they didn't have to necessarily worry about the clearances. So probably, even if we are maybe reaching out, I think as long as we advertise publicly and the person maybe goes through those channels, we can network, but have them go through those channels, then we don't have to worry about the clearances stuff.
Now, what do you mean the clearances?
You know
stuff?
how you have to have clearances to work with kids
Which I
nowadays?
actually have.
Yeah, but I don't know,
But-
because we were worried about do all members, I think Matt had brought it up, do all members of the EAC have to have clearances if we're gonna have a
But I
junior?
think if you're in a group, I don't know, just my experiences from church type activities is the big issue is if you had activities where an adult was working individually with a student.
They
or a
have to have
child.
the clearances,
I
is
think
that
if
when
you were
it,
in a
okay,
bigger group like this, and even with the litter cleanup, it's if that adult is alone with the kids. Was always my understanding of
okay.
how that worked, that not that we had to have
Okay.
everybody. That
Yeah,
was,
as long as we're good there.
that was what I remember, but I do have the clearances. If that's.
I have
if that-
some of them I have to finish getting. I think there's still one I have to get. It's like a
So
list.
I guess then we'll start thinking, maybe put together some sort of a project form or proposal as to how we go about to advertise for this. Because I know we're at least getting some interest from the Interact Club. So maybe that's something we can kind of throw at Matt and see what he thinks we can do, since he started working the
Well,
contacts with the school folks.
I think based on what Miss Lombardi has said in the past, I think, if Risha doesn't want to do it, maybe if we just then send an email to Miss Lombardi and ask her to make a post, you sort of send her a short summary of the who, where, when, what, why kind of things. If it's an event, what you want, when you want them to get there, what do you want them to wear, what do you want them to do, kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
for this kind of thing, it would maybe explain what their responsibilities would be, the meetings once a month.
Right.
Picking a project to help with and doing whatever, interested them that came along with that, but just sort of putting it in something that she can post. They have a site where the kids go to look for things that they might want to do, and like
Right,
how many
right.
hours you think it'll be.
Okay.
So they know roughly how much time they can get out of it.
Right.
Yes, if you get that together for Matt, then he could have her post something if Risha didn't want to do it.
Okay. Okay. And I like with the town council representative, I like the suggestion that they contribute an article, I think, to McMail or to the town crier or something that they learned. Maybe that we could even have them have to do an environmental tip 1 month. Just some little,
You can
and
take Dave's spot.
to the
There you
recycle,
go.
Dave's spot in the
Yeah.
monthly tips, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's great. It gives them real world experience, stuff they can put on a resume,
Right,
talk about in an interview.
okay. No, sounds good. Good to know we
I
don't,
like the fact that they can maybe get some kids here for cleanup.
And building trails,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
some younger folks.
yeah. Okay, next up, McMail tips. I know we've had some great volunteers here the past several months, so we really don't have a a regular rotation anymore. Does anyone have any thoughts or great ideas they'd like to do a tip this month? If not,
When would it be due?
it would be due
The 28th, 28th.
28th.
Of this month?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did we have one last year about like what to do with your Christmas tree and?
I don't think we've done strictly that, because we usually advertise Christmas tree recycling separately.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
okay.
That's something winter related. Holiday related. You think you'd have time to?
I mean,
Something
I'm
like
drawing a blank, but I'm just trying to think if there's anything in sustainability that sort of.
And honestly, the last one I did, I actually just did a little web surfing. I thought of an idea and just did a little research, and it's not hard to pull up an article and do some paraphrasing and
Yeah,
not stealing, but
Or
Do we recycle Christmas trees or do we just pick them up?
So Public Works picks them up in the first 2 weeks of January. And they're recycled into something. I never quite forget why. I think part of it's the
Doesn't it go to the Allegheny County? Don't they? Chip it up?
it goes somewhere. I think the county does do it. I don't think it's involved with the mulch or not, because that's the
Oh.
leaf weight, that's the leaves, but they do that, and then Waste Management will pick them up the rest of the month. Just for trash, essentially.
and how many words is this usually?
if you 150, 200, I think 300 is max. The shorter the better, actually.
Okay, I don't know why I'm saying this, but it seems dumb to me.
No, I appreciate. Let me-
over.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
think about it.
And honestly, don't stress, and you can even go back through old McMails.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
recycle topics all the time.
okay.
mine for January is always prune your trees.
Okay,
And we've got
It could
plenty of them.
be, don't feed the deer, feeding the birds,
How to throw away your pumpkins.
throwing away your pumpkins.
compost,
We just did
pumpkins
that.
and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff or something.
And if it starts to get too wordy, just have a link to something, link to.
Yeah.
Put links in it,
um,
right?
Penn State or, DEP or whoever,
Okay,
not just so it's not some like wacko.
And just, and if you wouldn't mind just running it by me.
oh, definitely. Yeah, I just figured, I wanna be
David
doing
myself,
something and
yeah.
while I'm waiting for sustainability stuff, then I'll be contributing.
And even the
Sure.
sustainability, you can say a little
Yeah.
about sustainability.
I'll pull something out.
It's,
Just
I'll pull something out. It's gonna be a rainy day tomorrow. I'll poke around.
The other stuff.
Thank
like
you.
Salt on the driveway, salt on the,
Yeah,
Right.
sidewalk, that kind of thing.
I know, I agonized over the first one or two and
Yeah,
the really,
Single-use plastics.
Hmm?
You could talk about single-use plastics, stuff like that.
Yeah,
there's so.
okay,
there's-
right.
Yeah, the main thing is just try and keep it focused and short.
okay, got it. Okay, good, thanks for the ideas.
Right, no, thank you very much
Mhm.
for doing that. Okay, and then Dave's gonna work on some quick and easy
Yes.
recycle tips. And that's all I have for business items. Does anybody have any new topics they want to add for next month or anything to add to real quick tonight? Okay, as always, if you've got a relatively long report, it really helps to have it in writing if, or at least let me know that you've got it and I'll get you on the agenda. All right, Jack, anything else from town council?
No, Miss Zachary, she resigned effective
saw
Monday.
that. Hmm.
So she had 3 or 4 nice people spoke up on her behalf to say some nice things, which was nice. Yeah, that's about all that it's new. Everything else was filled positions. Filled some like the MTSA and something else. Yeah, the planning commission, I believe. Some 2 people on,
Is she the only open position now on council then?
right? And we advertised effective on Tuesday. And we'll close it off on, I believe, January 2nd.
And it has to be somebody from her.
Her ward
Right, her
1,
ward, which is Ward what?
Ward 1.
Ward one,
But-
okay,
More importantly, you have to understand Ward 1 was just redistricted. So it's changed somewhat. So the piece that's up the top left-hand corner towards the top of Pine, out towards Route 19,
Mhm.
up towards Grubbs. I think that's Breckenridge.
Mhm.
Essentially Breckenridge plan is no longer in that ward. And then her ward moved, essentially the rest is the same. She might have picked up a little bit in the south, but not too much, because they tried it, it's councilmanic districts are supposed to be equitable through all 7 districts, so it was just because of the, recent census, they had to redistrict.
So council does that. So that's, we know that representation at the state level changed because there's redistricting and different things, but inside of McCandless, council then redistricts as well.
Yes, but it has to be in conjunction with the Allegheny County, because they have some unique rules that we have to comply with. And so we have a 3-member team that goes out and rewrites it. They present it to council, see if anybody has any opinions on it. Then after it's approved there, then it goes to the county. The county then, fine tunes everything that comes back, and then we vote on it. It has to be advertised, and then we vote on it and approve it. And it's been approved and it's moving forward.
And the replacement applicant has to be Republican as well, right?
Yes.
Because it's to be replaced with the same.
Because she was
party as-
Republican,
yeah.
correct? Same party.
Is that right? I don't know a darn thing, I'll tell you that. That's what I've learned.
I just
It's
read. the
standard.
articles,
It's
yeah.
standard for, if you were a legislator too,
Yeah,
it would replace with the same party.
Okay,
Interesting.
Well, this committee was Kim's idea back in 2016 or 17, so
and she was our liaison for.
she
the
was our
first
liaison
several
for a
years.
while, and so. For good or for bad, she started the whole thing here.
Well, to that point, she'll be recognized. We're going to produce a plaque for her and put it down around the
Nice.
Heritage Center. So
Very
we'll
nice.
invite her back if she'd like to come back for that. Otherwise, we'll just,
Well, can you let us know?
oh,
if
absolutely.
that
Yeah.
happens?
Yeah.
And
It will
if we
happen.
can-
Yeah,
If there's a meet, we can be present at the meeting.
sure. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
would she ever want to recycle back onto this?
I
You know-
think she's moving.
She's moving,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
okay.
No,
That's a
I,
loss.
yeah.
It
I-
is a
I think
loss.
that would be appropriate if we could attend. So, okay. Thanks for that. Okay, and so we have no public here tonight with comments. Unless anybody else has any other business for tonight. Just want to wish everybody a really Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Mhm.
Hopefully relaxing time for everybody, time with family, and everyone be safe.
Likewise.
And so we have a motion to adjourn.
So.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I'll second that.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm
Alright.
I'm not a voter.
No, I just looked for you too. You could vote, I wouldn't know the difference.
To be noted. Yeah.
So meeting's adjourned and
All right. Happy holidays, everyone.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
bye.
Thanks, Phil.